Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into an alarming medical mystery today. Why are peak performance athletes and totally dedicated gym goers suddenly just collapsing? I mean, we see them lifting heavy, running super fast, looking like the absolute picture of health, right? But underneath all that, there's actually a hidden epidemic of severe cardiac events striking down the very people we assume are the healthiest among us. So today, we're going to unpack what's known as the fit but fragile paradox.
To really grasp the urgency here, you have to look at this staggering number, 10 years. When we look at global data, especially looking at populations with genetically smaller blood vessels, like in India, we're seeing young adults contracting heart disease a full 10 years earlier than populations in the West. That is a sobering statistic. It really highlights just how vulnerable the cardiovascular system can be, even and sometimes especially in younger folks who are actively trying to stay fit. And honestly, it creates this massive cognitive dissonance that we really need to investigate. If these gym-goers look like the absolute epitome of health, what exactly is causing their hearts to just fail? Are they pushing too hard? Are there invisible factors at play here? Well, as you'll see, a chiseled exterior definitely doesn't always equal internal cardiovascular health. In fact, sometimes the relentless pursuit of that perfect exterior is exactly what compromises the heart in the first place. Section 1. The Gym Heart Attack Trend. Let's start our investigation by looking at this rising trend of young, seemingly healthy gym-goers suffering from unexpected and severe cardiac events. Section 2. Overexertion and hidden blockages. To solve this mystery, we have to look below the surface of those sculpted physiques to uncover how intense gym culture actually physically impacts the cardiovascular system. Now, there is a massive gap between myth and reality when it comes to this stuff. We're always told that exercise is universally good for blood pressure, right? But here's the reality. Pushing your body with really strenuous exercises, like sprinting or cycling faster than 10 miles per hour, can actually force your systolic blood pressure past a dangerous 200 millimeters of mercury. Now, a temporary rise, totally normal. But spiking way past 200 without proper recovery, that puts an incredibly dangerous strain on your heart walls. And these intense blood pressure spikes act as immediate triggers. Imagine having an undiagnosed blockage in your arteries, which, by the way, is something a ton of young gym-goers don't even realize they have until it's too late. When you combine that hidden plaque with a sudden massive spike in blood pressure from overexertion, you literally risk a plaque rupture. Plus, your diastolic blood pressure, that bottom number, that shouldn't change while exercising. If it does, that's a massive red flag. Add in the super common modern habits of exercising in random, intense spurts and completely overestimating physical limits. Look, we've all been guilty of ego lifting at some point, but you end up with a perfect storm for sudden cardiac arrest right there on the gym floor. Section 3. The hidden anabolic factor. Let's shift gears and look at the silent accomplice in our medical mystery, the hidden prevalence of anabolic androgenic steroids. Guys, we are looking at a completely hidden epidemic here, with an estimated 3 million steroid users in the United States alone. And you want to know what's truly shocking about that number? The vast majority of these users aren't even competitive athletes. Nope, up to 2/3 are just non-competitive, everyday, recreational gym-goers. They're largely driven by body dysmorphia and just this intense societal pressure to get that perfect body image. So they're using these synthesized hormones purely for cosmetic gains, totally unaware of the immense structural damage happening right inside their chests. The gruesome physical reality of inappropriate steroid use is visibly, undeniably clear when you look at an autopsy of a bodybuilder's heart. Notice the extreme left ventricular hypertrophy here. The steroids literally force the heart muscle to grow uncontrollably, exactly like you'd grow a bicep or a chest muscle. But here's the catch. A thicker heart is actually a weaker heart. This massive thickening of the left ventricle severely impairs diastolic filling, it triggers arrhythmias, and it dramatically restricts the heart's ability to efficiently pump blood. Now, while this whole web of side effects is overwhelmingly complex, touching everything from psychological aggression to severe liver damage, the absolutely crucial point is right there in the cardiovascular and negative side effect nodes. We're talking high LDL cholesterol, low HDL, and direct cardiovascular toxicity. The hard data shows that anabolic steroids completely remodel the heart. They increase aortic stiffness and severely depress the function of both the right and left ventricles. It's really scary stuff. And this pathological remodeling, it isn't just some clinical curiosity. It has very real, very fatal consequences. We're talking about a dramatic 4.6 times higher mortality risk for chronic anabolic steroid users compared to non-users. That is massive. This pathological hypertrophy, when you combine it with impaired endothelial function and vascular stiffness, it turns what's supposed to be a healthy pursuit of fitness into a literal fatal trap, drastically increasing the odds of myocardial infarction and sudden death. Section 4. Reversing the cardiac damage. Now, what's really interesting here is how this introduces our plot twist, a surprisingly hopeful scientific discovery for folks who have used these substances in the past. There was this major piece of research called the Harlem study that tracked 31 subjects using 3D echocardiography, and the timeline is just fascinating. So after a median steroid cycle of 16 weeks, the damage was completely stark. The heart's ejection fraction declined by nearly 5%, and the left ventricular mass increased by a heavy 28.3 grams. But check out the second half of the timeline. After stopping usage and allowing for a median recovery time of 8 months, the researchers observed a complete return to baseline. No way, right? But it's true. The heart is incredibly resilient and can actually repair this dangerous hypertrophy, but only if the chemical abuse stops. Section 5. Protecting your heart. Let's take all of this medical investigation and turn it into some actionable prevention strategies that you can actually use to build your body safely.
Before you lift another heavy weight or jump on a high-speed treadmill, you absolutely need to know your actual baseline, not just what your ego tells you it is. You need to ensure you can actually pass these simple physical endurance tests without totally gassing out. Step 1. Can you climb 2 flights of stairs without excessive breathlessness? Step 2. Can you walk 500 meters in 6 minutes? Step 3. Try the RPE test. Do jumping jacks for 2 minutes. If you rate your exertion level high on that, say a 4 or more out of 10, your heart health might already be compromised. These are absolutely vital reality checks for your cardiovascular capacity.
Furthermore, you've got to protect yourself daily by keeping your workouts smart. Never ever push your systolic blood pressure past that 200 milestone without giving yourself proper recovery time. And I love this one, adopt the above neck rule. Basically, if you've got a runny nose, mild exercise is probably okay. But if you have chest congestion, a fever, or a really deep cough, skip the gym entirely. Do not stress a weakened heart. You should also commit to walking 30 minutes daily to build genuine, sustainable cardiovascular endurance. And finally, be proactive. Schedule an HSCRP test with your doctor. That simple test can uncover hidden coronary risks and inflammation long before you ever pick up a dumbbell. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on before your next intense workout. Are you building your muscles at the expense of your most important organ? Because at the end of the day, true fitness isn't just about the weight on the bar or the reflection in the mirror, is it? It's about building a body that actually supports a long, vibrant life from the inside out. Listen to your heart, train smart, and stay truly healthy out there.